negotiation. The two leaders of the consultation had a phone call to discuss the remaining issues. Going forward, the two delegations will reach out to each other from different means, and they will keep in close communication, and we will spare no efforts to continue the trade talks, and both sides will continue to act on the important consensus made by the two heads of states. Thank you. Next question, please.
国际商报记者提问，请介绍一下第21次中国欧盟领导人会晤达成了一些经贸成果，谢谢。
Can you give us some of the achievement that has been made between the 21st China-EU Leaders Summit? About the 21st China-EU Summit, it was take place on April the 9th, and Premier Li Keqiang had met the President of the EU Council and the EU Commission, and they co-hosted the 21st China-EU Leaders Summit, and they call for multilateralism and firmly reject the unilateralism and protectionism. And all parties has agreed to continue the trade cooperation and made concerted contribution and laid a solid foundation for the future cooperation between EU and China. Going forward, China and EU will conduct cooperation under the context of non-discrimination and achieve a win-win result. Both sides will offer more convenient and open the business environment and more easy market access to each other. And hopefully both sides can make notable progress by the end of 2019 for the China-EU Investment Protocol. For the geological signed agreement between China and EU, both sides will continue the discussion in the upcoming months to resolve all the remaining issues. In the multilateral aspect, both sides will stay committed to the rule-based and WTO-centered multilateralism. Both sides will firmly reject unilateralism and protectionism, and both sides will continue to contribute to the WTO reform and resolve the crisis that has been faced by the appellate body of the WTO. Both sides will make more consensus in other fields. Regarding BRI and the EU strategic alignment, both sides will continue to move forward with the BRI and the EU strategic development plan. Under the context of EU, we will continue to strengthen our efforts for further cooperation with EU countries. At the same time, China and EU also signed a series of cooperation documents in the area of energy, competition, etc. China and EU would like to work together and add on the consensus that have been made from the 21st China-EU Summit so that we could bring real benefits to the peoples. Thank you.
谢谢发言人。上海证券报记者提问：目前陕西、四川等自贸试验区迎来2周年。
From Shanghai Security News.
这些自贸区形成的经验将如何复制推广？另外
Currently, we can see Shanxi and Sichuan have been celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the pilot free trade zone. Is it possible that we will expand the free trade zone? Thank you. As you mentioned, we are having 7 regions who are celebrating the 2-year anniversary of the pilot free trade zone, and we have accumulated many valuable experiences, and these are replicable in all the country. For example, in Liaoning province, they also set up an innovative center and setting up a bonded zone protection mechanism. And for the Zhejiang Free Trade Zone, they have also continue their efforts to explore the possibility to import more products. And they are also coming up with a series of policies to import oils from other countries. For Shanxi province, they're actually focusing on the China railway to Europe, and they're working to bring more convenience for the transportation between China and the EU. All of these experience can be used in different regions in China and has a very strong complementarity between the regions. By learning all of these experiences, we can better achieve the goal putting forth at the beginning of the project. With the deployment of the State Council, the FTA zone, the pilot FTA zones, is actually adopting an innovative way and commercialize the achievements that we have been achieved. And we have also conducted a very strict oversight for the operation of the pilot free trade zone. And we have gathered 153 experiences from the running of the pilot free trade zone. And this free trade zone has contributed to China's reform and opening up. With the widespread of the experiences, this will help China to continue to make contribution in delegate powers and improve regulation and the services, and also help to improve the business environment in China. And all of these achievements can be shared by other regions of China. In the future, we will continue to follow the instruction from the State Council. First of all, we would like to accumulate more experiences from this pilot free trade zone. At this moment, we are actually summarizing a series of experiences, and we will publish those information in due course. And second, we will continue to implement all of those experiences in other pilot free trade zones. From time to time, we will take strict oversight and compliance to make sure that all the experiences can take effect. Third, we will continue to support the high-tech zone that will be built within those pilot free trade zones. We would like to make more build more platforms so that some of the free trade zone can be demonstrated as an example. And you also asked a question about the expansion of the pilot free trade zone. Currently, MOFCOM is working with Shanghai government to explore the possibility for expansion for the pilot free trade zone in Shanghai. We will continue to follow the instruction from State Council and continue to build a high-quality pilot free trade zone. Thank you.
谢谢发言人。总台央广经济之声记者提问：我们注意到4月9号的话，中国和巴基斯坦自贸协定第2阶段的谈判取得了
From CMG.
能否请您介绍一下详细情况以及？
We have noted that we have made good progress for the FTA between China and Pakistan. Can you give us more information when this negotiation will be concluded? Thank you. On April the 9th, China held the second stage and the 11th meeting of Pakistan to discuss the free trade agreement. With friendly consultation, both sides has reached a lot of consensus in the area of service market and also the commodities cooperation. We hope we can sign the FTA with Pakistan as soon as possible so that it can bring real benefits to the two peoples. Thank you. From Macau Satellite. And from this year's work report, we are realizing that we have to accelerate the negotiation for the China-Japan-Korea FTA. So can you give us some updates on the negotiation for the China, Japan, Korea FTA? So far, we have completed 14 China, Japan, Korea FTA negotiation. As of now, we are undergoing the 15th FTA negotiation. Last December, during the 14th FTA negotiation, 3 sides has agreed that we should accelerate the process for the negotiation. And also, 3 sides has agreed to accelerate the process for the RCEP negotiation so that we could facilitate the trade liberalization. So in summary, we would like to form a high-quality FTA between China, Japan, and Korea. On April the 12th, China, Japan, and Korea held the 15th round of negotiation of FTA. So this is actually the first meeting that was being held after 3 sides has agreed for the acceleration of the negotiation. And the 3 sides will hold meetings covering over 10 topics. They will talk about issues related to the commodity trade and the service market. China would like to work with Japan and Korea to ensure a success negotiation of the FTA. Thank you. We have noted that next week we will be having the Canton Fair. Can you give us some updates on the companies who are attending this Canton Fair, and compared to the previous version, what are the new highlights for this year's Canton Fair? Thank you for your question. The 125th Canton Fair will be held on April the 15th. And for the size of the exhibition, it covers around 1.1 million square meters. And also we have over 60,000 booths. And we have 25,000 exhibitors joining this Canton Fair from home and abroad. There are several features for this Canton Fair. First, we continue to optimize the companies and the product portfolio in this Canton Fair. And the upgrade of the products, we have seen a 30% upgrade rate. And for companies who own the IPR and the patent of the products, and we see a big increase, and also we have more green and intelligent products in this Canton Fair. We have more brands and premium brands exhibiting in the Canton Fair. And this year we have over 210 buyers from other countries attending the Canton Fair. And at the same time, we have more parallel forums hosted for this year's Canton Fair. And this year's Canton Fair will offer a comprehensive platform and host over 20 forums. And also, we have over 50 sidelight events associated with the Canton Fair. And we also organized the 8 clusters to join the Canton Fair. And the 4th feature of the Canton Fair is that this year, Canton Fair is also contributing to the poverty alleviation. For some of the exhibitors who are coming from the impoverished regions, they will be free of charge for attending this Canton Fair. And over 400 companies will attend the Canton Fair for free. And also we have a special session for poverty alleviation during the Canton Fair so that we can open a stronger market for the impoverished regions. We hope the Canton Fair can play the role to enlarge the international influence for the domestic companies so that we could achieve a high-quality development. Thank you. From China Business Network. So for WTO on April the 5th, they have also issued a verdict about a national security. They're also considering to release a restriction on some of the countries involved. So for the WTO reform, what is China's position right now? Will WTO reform will consider some of the interference of the national security issues? Thank you. Currently, WTO reform is very important for global governance. For specific content for the WTO reform, certain countries have raised their suggestions. However, there's no consensus that has to be made between the members of WTO. China has firmly supported necessary reform for WTO. We would like to work with relevant parties and to deliver suggestions on our own. So what we are doing is help to enhance the efficiency and the authority of the WTO so that WTO can continue to support the multilateralism. From Shenzhen Satellite. It is noted that the US ITC is intended to launch a 337 investigation on the photovoltaic cell for China. What's the take from MOFCOM? We have noted that on April the 4th, the U.S. International Trade Commission has issued an announcement, and they are about to conduct a investigation, the 337 investigation for the photovoltaic cell. And this investigation will be jointly conducted according to the tariff law from U.S. So the Korean company is actually claiming that the Chinese product is involved of an infringement of patent for the photovoltaic cell. Currently, we are following closely with this case. This is actually a dispute between the two companies. We hope the U.S. can conduct a fair investigation and handle this issue properly. Thank you.
你好，香港电台记者提问，有关美国商务部提出将37家中资企业
From Hong Kong Radio.
为危险的名单，呼吁美国企业跟他们做生意的时候要小心。请问商务部对此有何回应？谢谢。
And according to the U.S. government, they are saying that the 37 Chinese invested companies and schools are actually being blacklisted. And what's the take from MOFCOM? We have noted relevant reports. And over 30 Chinese companies are actually included in the blacklist in the US. This has actually harmed the interest of the Chinese company and also hurts the reputation of these companies. And China firmly opposes US to take export restrictions against Chinese company under the name of national security and interfere of international trade. We hope the US can follow the principle of mutual trust and mutual benefit so that they could remove this Chinese company out of the blacklist so that all of the trade cooperation can go back on track. Thank you.
今天的发布会到此结束，谢谢大家。
If there's no more question, that's the end of the press conference. Thank you.